Welcome back to Strainer Strats, the number one place for all of your sports betting needs. It's Championship Saturday, conference championships for college football. You know what that means? It's a gambler's paradise, and I'm here to walk you through it. Let's go to the intro. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. First game on the docket, Big 12 championship game. First time since 1998. There's no Oklahoma or Texas. Instead, we got number 9 Baylor, number 5 Oklahoma State, Cowboys -6, over under 46. Oklahoma State is trying to push their way into the college football playoff. The biggest thing to pay attention to coming into this game is Baylor quarterback Jerry Bohannon. He strained his hamstring 2 weeks ago against Kansas State and missed last week against Texas Tech. Instead, he was replaced by freshman Blake Shapen. Bohannon is questionable for the game, and the Baylor offense is completely different when he's in. Shapen played okay last week against Texas Tech. He threw for 2 touchdowns and 0 picks, but one of those touchdowns was a 70-yard screen pass to a tight end, and he had 3 turnover-worthy plays. It doesn't matter who plays quarterback, they need to be able to run the ball. When they played earlier in week 5, Baylor only had 28 rushes for 52 yards if you take out a 55-yard touchdown run by Abram Smith. In that game, they only got at least 2 first downs on 2 of their 13 possessions. Oklahoma State has a ferocious defensive line. Last week against Oklahoma, they had 7 quarterback hurries with 6 sacks. They are going to terrorize a Baylor offensive line that is ranked 84th in passing down sack rate. On the other side of the ball, Oklahoma State does not have a good run game. They're ranked 104th nationally in rushing and bottom 15 in rush explosiveness. That means the game is going to rely on Oklahoma State quarterback Spencer Sanders, who threw 3 interceptions in their regular season matchup this year and 2 the year before. Overall, I like the Bears +6. They're 16-4 against the spread in their last 20 against a team with a winning record, and in their last 10 as an underdog, they're 7-2-1 against the spread. There's also value in the under. In Oklahoma State's last 25 games, the under is 17-7-1, and it's 0-4-1 in Baylor's last 5. Next game on the docket is the SEC title. It's the game we've been waiting all year for. Number 1 Georgia, number 3 Alabama. Bulldogs -6.5, over under 49.5. The Alabama offense scores 42.7 points a game. They're led by Heisman favorite Bryce Young. He threw for just under 4,000 yards this year, 40 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Alabama is riddled with injury questions, particularly at running back with Robinson and a weak offensive line that has allowed more sacks this year than the previous 2 seasons combined. The way for them to move the ball is passing because that Georgia defensive line only allows 3.5 yards per carry in SEC play. However, he's never faced the Goliath that is the Georgia defense. They allow 6.9 points per game, and no one has scored more than 17 against them this year. Georgia's offense is getting it done too. They've scored 30 points in 11 of their 12 games, and at least 41 in each of their last 4. After taking over for the injured JT Daniels, Stetson Bennett is ranked 2nd in the nation in passing efficiency, and although this isn't a typical Alabama defense, they're still allowing less than 20 points a game. Trends-wise, you've got to look at the obvious one with Nick Saban. He's 24-1 against former assistant coaches, and that one loss came this year to Jimbo Fisher in Texas A&M. But this is everything Georgia's worked for. They can finally get over the hump that is Alabama, and they can be the ones to send them home early. Don't overthink it. Take Georgia -6.5. This is the game I'll be at. I mean, it's pretty obvious who I like. Number 2 Michigan, number 13 Iowa. Michigan -10.5, over under 43.5. If this was a regular season game, I would be licking my chops. I don't care if it was at the Big House. Iowa would march in there and upset them outright. Michigan is coming off their biggest win in a decade. This is the definition of a sleeper spot. But Michigan's got something to play for. This is the Big Ten championship game. They likely have to win to make it into the college football playoff. They're not going to go to sleep soundly. However, I still like the Hawks in this game. 10.5 points is just too many. Our defense is going to keep us in this game. It's one of the best in the country. They allow 17 points a game, top 10, and they allow less than 300 yards per game. The secondary is one of the best in the entire nation, led by Riley Moss, who was just awarded the best defensive back in the Big Ten. The Hawkeyes own 3 of the last 6, by the way. If the defense can just get stops, force some turnovers, maybe even get a score, and the offense can put 2 drives together, the Hawkeyes have a chance of winning this game, easily covering 10.5. Oh boy, here we go. Other than the Hawks game, this is the game I'm looking forward to most on Saturday. The ACC Championship, we all thought Clemson was going to be in there. No. We get number 15 Pitt, number 16 Wake Forest. Panthers are favored by 3.5, over under 71.5. For Pitt, quarterback Kenny Pickett is having the greatest passing season in Panthers history. He's now getting Heisman talks, and there's whispers about him being the first quarterback taken off the board come April. But if there's any quarterback in the ACC that can challenge him, it's Wake's quarterback Sam Hartman. He threw for 3,700 yards this year, 34 touchdowns to only 10 interceptions. And Pitt's secondary is the 3rd worst in the ACC. They allow 260 yards a game. For as poor as Pitt's secondary might be, their defensive line is elite. They're 2nd in the nation in sacks. Wake Forest defensive line, not good. They allow 260 rushing yards per game. As much as it pains me to do it because Wake Forest made me so much money earlier in the year, I love Pitt in this game. Minus 3.5 is the perfect number. I love Kenny Pickett to get the job done. It is my best bet of the day. So there you have it. Championship Saturday. It's a gambler's paradise. I already told you what's going to happen. It's up to you if you want to believe me. We'll see you next time on Strainer Strap. And remember, scared money is lost money.